Welcome to Channel AMAC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Are you interested about migrate to Australia? Why don't you consider to subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell on the side so once we have all the updates and news, you'll be the first one getting all the insight. Now today's video, I would like to share with you of this news. I think it came out early today. Today is the Tuesday, 28th of November. Now remember, we have been through 2023 with the topic of housing crisis. So obviously the government is looking towards solving that problem. It seems to be leaving them a year, also almost a year already. We got last month of December to go, but seems to be it's not resolved. So they have actually put on some thoughts about how they're going to control immigration. So today's this news came out in regards to the international students. Then we haven't we learned about that they're going to close shut down of those ghost colleges. Now they want to do it further. They want to move further onwards. Let's have a look how they're gonna control the numbers of international students and have a read about this article there. Now you may want to Google, just punch in the title here: immigration is smashing renters. Obviously that means housing crisis again. That's the phrases of the year 2023. It is tied to hike fees for international students. So they think it's not gonna stop, and now they are looking to increase or raise up the international student fees. Now which sort of fees will be proposed to get it done? Let's have a look. Okay, so now I'll read it and make some comment on it. So came from the Sydney Morning Herald this morning. Australian renters market is running hot, slowing migration to take temperature down, while housing supply catch-up is smart move, but only if we do it at the right way, because they don't want it to drop too much of the permanent migration. Because as you notice, over the past 30 years, the way that Australia has moved its economy without getting into recession, one of the major key is migration. Without migration, Australia would have gone through all with all the recession that had been through in the 90s and the 2000s for the Lehman Brothers and things. But anyway, it didn't go through because of migration. So migration is very important for the economy of Australia. Now overseas migration rose a record to 454,000 in the year, in March is likely to be more than 500,000, 500,000 by the end of the year. 500,000, that's a lot of people. That's about the population of Canberra, ACT. Migration was always going to surge once Australia's border reopened, but it's run far stronger than anyone imagined. Now, why is that? Now, obviously, we have know about since 2022 there was a war in Europe, and there has been another war in Middle East, Israel and Hamas, and it's not really settled down in the East Asia as well, and so we can imagine the whole northern hemisphere is shaky. So a lot of people wanted to move and migrate, and that's where they go. They want to go to Australia because that's the best country in the southern hemisphere. Now every 100,000 extra migrant that we didn't expect raised rent by about 1%. Now those higher rents, so 100,000 raised 1%. So how many we got? We got 50,000. So that 500,000. So if we got divided doing that, that means the rent has increased about 5%. Well, roughly, I think that's how the calculation will work, and boost national income, but they hurt vulnerable Australians already struggling to pay the rent. Okay, so the cabinet boost housing supply is the best way to make the house cheaper, but look, it's just too slow. Now I've seen builder build houses in 3 months. Now where are those builders and where are the lands? What is the government doing? I mean, it's the federal and also the state. What are they doing? I think they're moving much slower than the traditional builder and developer. Why? I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. Have you seen they're building a lot of housing out there? Don't know. But it's still a problem there. But building houses take time, so it won't solve immediate rental crisis. Well, it does take time, but I've seen houses being built in 3 months. I don't know how we have already been through almost a year, and it's still struggling. So whose problem is it? Don't know. Maybe you wanted to leave. Comment right down below. Okay. Slowing migration will help vulnerable Australians whose rent are rising today, but if done badly, it will make us all poorer. So this is the key here. They don't want to slow it down too much, especially we're just going through a COVID and we are in a post-pandemic era where the productions is not, back to where the pre-pandemic was. So if we slow the migration down, obviously we'll get what they're trying to say is it will get Australia into recession sooner than holding up right up there. Most notably, lowering Australia's skill migration intake will be a costly mistake. Australia is offering 137,100 permanent skill places a year. Grattan Institute model the number, reducing permanent resident skill program by 10,000 each year could cost federal and state budget between 68 billion to 128 billion over the next 30 years. I don't know how that's calculated, but it seems to be crazy. And that's probably, well, look, for this year, they're already slowing the migration intake. As you have noticed that the state and the territory nomination for subclass 190 and 491 has been cut 70%. And for the independent skill migration, they haven't even opened up yet. So I'm not too sure if they continue to do that, it will probably hurt, 68 to 125 billion. I'm not too sure how they got that number there. You probably can leave comment right down below. I don't know how they calculate that. It will have a little impact on migration number rental demand short term, reducing the number of permanent family visa on offer, 52,500 this year, will also do little to reduce housing demand. But the current crisis provides an opportunity to scale back the form temporary migration. So here we go. They're talking about temporary migration. So they wanted to cut the temporary migration rather than cut the permanent migration. However, I think they already cut a lot of permanent migration already, because since 1st July 2023, I don't know how many people actually got their permanent residency. Not as much, or invitation, not as much as last year. I don't know how it's gonna stack up, unless they wanted to resolve with all the delay and backlog. Don't know. I don't know how that will work. It's just a mess at the moment. There's no big program open, and the global talent has dropped the number down, and I've seen a lot of cases being closed. So not too sure how that will go. Okay, so they wanted to cut the temporary migration, and they are now targeting on the student visas. So first, it should raise. It's trying to say here, it should raise the student visa fee to discourage student intending to complete cheaper, low-value courses from coming to Australia. Well, that's also another way to target and tackle those so-called ghost colleges. An international student number surged about 664,000 as university and other education provider zealously recruit more students, especially vet sector. Don't know. I'm not a big promoter on vet because I've seen too many visa refusals out there. But many of these students provide little economic benefit to Australia since they pay little in-course fees. Well, but they do help the economy. These students working in restaurants, working in the taxis and things. Well, probably that's not what the Australian government wants. Struggle to find well-paid workers on the graduate, unlikely even secure permanent skill visa. So, unlike proposal to apply levy to a student visa fee revenue, okay, they were trying to apply a levy. The Home Affairs Minister can raise visa fees with the stroke of a pen. So there's no that. What does that mean? That means they don't even need to go through Parliament to do all the policy changes. Slowing application for student visa almost immediately. Raising student visa. Here we go. From the fees from $710 to $2,500. Will raise about $1 billion a year. Woohoo! Okay, $1 billion. $2,500 for student visa application. I don't know if they will really do that. Okay, that will be enough to boost rent assistance by 20%, putting another $1,000 a year into pocket of vulnerable renters. Such visa fee rise is likely to discourage talented students from choosing studying in Australia, top university, those who most want to stay permanently since they already pay upwards about $150,000 for the bachelor degree. Second, the government should lift minimum English standard international student, keep cracking down on the dodgy providers, and they're going to introduce so-called the new genuine student test as recommended by the Parkinson Review and Migration System. Alternative proposals such as capping the number of international students in Australia are likely to prove unworkable. How do you cap them? Okay, how do you cap that? I mean, all these university and colleges representatives traveling all around the world, going through all the education expos. How do you cap them? Yeah, they are correct. It's unworkable. For instance, how many international student places will be allocated to each university? There is no balance there. You cannot calculate that. Third, the government should take a less attractive struggling student to stay in Australia after they graduate by offering shorter post-study work visa extension. Graduate with a degree with nominated area shortage for living in region should be capped. It should be scrapped. So what does this mean? The visa extension graduate with degree in nominated area of shortage and for living in the regions should be scrapped. Okay, and the visa extension will offer those earning at least $70,000 a year. Now, how can you confirm a graduate would have an offer of $70,000? Probably all the PhD graduate would, but what about the master graduates? These changes will result about $140,000. The lower international student graduate by 2030. I'm not too sure if that's a good way to go with. Fourth, the government should curb the number of working holiday makers in Australia by abolishing rules allowed extend their stay if they work in regional areas. So that means working holiday maker can only come to Australia for what? For 12 months only. They cannot extend further, and that will change about 25,000 fewer people here in backpacker visas. The Albanese government has a rare opportunity to make changes that will help struggling renters improve Australian migrant intake. It should act soon. So again, what does this mean? That means it's a recommendation putting out from the media and also the stakeholders. Not too sure if the government will actually do that, but sometimes we do know a news came out like this. It's a soft information. They wanted to test the market. So what is your thoughts? Probably can leave a comment right down below. And I'll see you next video. Goodbye.